Stewie is definitely not your average kid. But although we mostly get to see him plotting evil and trying to destroy the world, over the years, we have had some really memorable moments when we witnessed the cute side of the troublesome toddler. Here are some of Stewie Griffin's best moments ever. In the episode Total Recall, the company responsible for making Stewie's favorite toy, Rupert, New England Toy Company, puts out a statement recalling all its stuffed bears.
Oh my god, that's the same teddy bear Stewie has. We gotta send that thing back right away.
Without informing Stewie of her decision, Lois sends Rupert away. And when the toddler finds out that Rupert's missing, he is left completely stunned.
Rupert? Hey, what's going on? Brian, I can't find Rupert anywhere. Have you seen him?
I can't say for sure if Stewie expected Rupert to respond to his calls, but then again, you never know with Stewie. Even he shouldn't be able to talk this well. Brian then explains to Stewie what happened to Rupert before presenting Rupert's replacement to him. But Stewie isn't exactly pleased with the new toy.
I hate him. His mouth is always open like P. Diddy.
Well, what do you mean?
You ever notice how in every photo of P. Diddy his mouth is hanging open?
Well, actually, Diddy hired a guy to close his mouth for him.
Mad at the new toy and frustrated by Rupert's absence, Stewie decides that it's high time he goes to get his favorite toy back.
Brian, get your keys. I need you to drive me to that toy factory so I can get Rupert back.
Stewie, Lois sent him back because he's not safe.
But Brian, I miss him.
Never thought I'd see Stewie get so emotional. It's actually kind of cute. So they head out to the toy factory where Stewie finds what he thinks is Rupert, seated all alone, until he realizes that maybe that's not the right toy.
Brian, don't say anything.
Stewie?
Oh, crap.
Well, now begins the tricky part, identifying Rupert from the heap of look-alike stuffed animals.
Stewie, we're never gonna find him. They're all exactly the same.
Wow. I wish you could hear how racist you sound right now.
I can understand Stewie's frustration. After hours of searching, even Stewie becomes exhausted by their almost impossible quest.
Stewie.
You don't have to say it, Brian. I know. So, this is what it feels like to be a grown-up, huh? All alone in the world?
But just as they are about to give up, Stewie spots Rupert.
My God, Brian, look! That's him! That's Rupert!
How do you know?
You can't hear him calling me! He's calling me, clear as day!
Oh, yeah, now I hear him.
Am I the only one not hearing a thing? Well, I guess so. Stewie, with the help of Brian, then proceeds to save Rupert against all odds in a scene that almost ends with the toddler in an incinerator. That's some real act of bravery, I must say. But in the end, Stewie gets to reconnect with his beloved toy. After an earthquake in Haiti, Lois and Peter decide to help out by organizing a blood drive, leaving Stewie lonely and unable to sleep.
Lois! Lois! Mommy!
Stewie, what's going on? You should be asleep by now.
I can't sleep, Brian. Where's the woman? I need her to read me a bedtime story.
So much for always acting like a tough kid. Brian tries to fill in for Lois by reading Stewie a bedtime story, but his efforts fail to yield any result. He then decides maybe it's time they took a different route.
You know what? I know something that'll help you sleep. Wait here.
I hope so, because I've tried everything.
To put Stewie to bed, Brian gives him some cough syrup, and almost instantly, Stewie is knocked out. Following the success of their blood drive, the couple, that is, Lois and Peter, decide to start up a business together, further leaving Stewie neglected. With no parental supervision, Stewie becomes even more dependent on the cough syrup until he becomes addicted.
Stewie, what are you doing?
Huh? Oh, Brian. Oh, there you are. I've been looking all over the table for you. You know, I'm gonna tell you, the stuff you gave me was a lifesaver last night.
Stewie must really be feeling on top of the world, but like most drunk people, this kid is still in denial.
Stewie, you're drunk.
Oh, listen, oh, Brian's all serious. Oh, I don't drink in the morning because I've got to land a plane.
He might be wasted, but he sure does look a lot happier than his usual self.
Can I leave now?
No, Brian, no, you can't. Brian, I need your help. I've made a series of small poops in my bath, and I need you to scoop them out with this fishnet.
At this point, I'm starting to think that maybe drunk Stewie is the best Stewie. Now addicted to cough syrup, Stewie continues to constitute a happy, excited nuisance.
Stewie, what are you doing?
Being awesome.
I like the sound of that, except that he appears to be in really bad shape. Eventually, Stewie gets involved in a minor bike accident which forces Brian to intervene. Brian's idea of helping him out is to organize an AA intervention with all of Stewie's toys present.
I know. Oh, Brian, who am I? I don't have a cough, and my sinuses are remarkably wide open. But I have a problem.
Yeah, you are a baby with an alcohol problem. While in class in the episode Stowaway, the teacher introduces the kids to a new game called Hide and Seek, and Stewie, who is entirely captivated by the concept, decides to be the first to hide. It's not as if hide and seek is such a revolutionary ideal, though.
Looks like we have our first little hider.
I'm so glad they didn't fire you for giving us baths.
Stewie quickly becomes obsessed with the game. He begins hiding in every place he can think of.
Hey, Brian, can you find me?
Wow, there's no way anybody would find you, Stewie. You have literally become invisible.
Oh my god! Pretty cool spot, eh, Brian? Do all kids know what a good spot a closed-door refrigerator is?
That's such a big discovery. How did no other person think of that? Brian, however, takes the time to explain to Stewie just how dangerous hiding in the refrigerator can be. But Stewie's not done with his games just yet. He continues to plead with Brian to participate in the game. Although Brian is already tired of playing hide and seek, the dog agrees to one more round. And in a quest to make this final round a bit more difficult for Brian, Stewie sneaks out of the house and ends up in Quagmire's luggage. It turns out that Quagmire, who has no idea what's inside his bag, is on duty to fly a plane to Paris, ignorantly taking Stewie with him.
Stewie? Mr. Quagmire? Terrence?
On arrival in Paris, Quagmire tries to get Lois and Peter to come get Stewie, but the couple who are on vacation would prefer not to be disturbed.
Quags, you got this, right? Captain Quagmire. The Quag. Stop! I can't believe this. Okay, I'll watch him. But I'm not happy, Peter. Oh, and now that you're my babysitter, I'd rather you call me Mr. Griffin.
Peter's such an idiot. Surprisingly, Quagmire and Stewie bond quite well.
You know, I envy you, Stewie. I used to be innocent like you. I've killed people. Then I lost my virginity at 6 to our strangely female plumber. Respect? I know you're just a baby, but I feel like you really understand me.
Such a touching story. Watching Quagmire and Stewie cuddle is probably one of the most memorable scenes in Family Guy. They then go on to have quite the adventure in Paris.
I love you, man. I love you too, man.
On their way back home, with both of them all but wasted, Stewie sees a pretty girl inside the train and decides to go after her.
I gotta shoot my shot with her.
Quagmire wakes up to discover that Stewie's missing. After a frustrating search around the city, he turns to Brian for help, but it turns out Brian isn't of much use either.
Where else could Stewie be? Should we look in, like, a park?
In like a park? I flew you out here for this level of insight? I thought you knew him.
Eventually, they run into each other at a cemetery where Brian tries to cheer up the now emotional and fragile Stewie.
You know, this is probably the best hiding place I've ever seen. But it's not... It wasn't... You really think so? I know so. Nobody would ever look here. It's too scary. It is pretty scary. Am I the best hide-and-seek player in the world? Yeah.
And in that moment, Stewie's eyes light up as Brian calls him the best hide-and-seek player in the world. You can tell that it meant so much to the kid. Brian goes to pick up Stewie from school, where we find out just how mean Stewie can be.
Gavin, that's a stupid name. And nobody likes you at school. You're gonna be ugly when you grow up. And everything in your house is cheap. And it smells in here.
Oh, hey, Brian. Bye.
Stewie enjoys his ride back home with Brian. Then on arrival, he even decides to sit back and listen to some music when he mistakenly hits the gear.
Oh my god. I just drove. Oh, that was amazing. I can drive.
Now I can do a slow cruise past my ex-girlfriend's apartment.
Brilliant idea. Still excited by his little driving experience, Stewie sneaks out of the house and takes Brian's car on a cruise. All without Brian's knowledge.
Oh my god, Rupert, this is such a thrill. Look at me, I'm driving. I'm driving a real car. I don't believe it.
Well, I'd say we need to put on some tunes.
Now a bit too confident, Stewie picks up the phone to call the radio. And in that moment, everything goes sour. Even adults aren't supposed to use the phone while driving, let alone a kid whose legs can barely reach the brakes. Luckily, Stewie comes out unhurt. But the car? Well...
Oh my god, I'm in so much trouble.
Congratulations, you're caller number 5. You're going to see Justin Bieber.
Oh, sweet Jesus! Yes, Jesse! I won! Never say never!
That sounds a lot like Mr. Herbert. Stewie then reluctantly drives the damaged car back home, hoping that with a little makeover, Brian wouldn't notice the damage.
Okay, it's all right. I'll just get a little bit of paint and cover up the dents. Unattractive women do it all the time.
Well, Brian notices the damage and, as expected, he isn't so excited about it.
What the hell happened to my car?
Well, I don't know, man, but the good news is that it doesn't look all that bad, Brian. It's that spot right there.
Come in, Stewie. Come up with a better lie.
Stewie, I know it was you.
Your potato joke was terrible.
To make sure Stewie doesn't try anything stupid anytime soon, Brian informs him that he is going to have to report to his parents, a decision that leaves Stewie paranoid.
What am I going to do? I'm going to be in so much trouble when they find out I wrecked Brian's car. They'll probably ship me off to Siberia.
Worried about what would happen to him, Stewie then decides that his best bet is to run away.
Brian, I've decided to run away. Don't come looking for me. And definitely don't chase me to the airport and catch me at the gate just before I'm about to get on the plane.
I don't think Stewie's serious about running away, though. So, instead of getting on the bus headed to the airport, Stewie gets on the wrong bus and finds himself in a strange neighborhood. Fortunately for him, his former nanny, Consuela, finds and takes him to her house, even though she doesn't recognize him. Using his nose, which is probably the most reliable tracking device in the world, Brian traces Stewie to Consuela's house.
No, I'm not going back. I can't. They're going to be mad at me.
I didn't tell anyone. You didn't?
Turns out, Brian decided to keep their little secret to himself, and Stewie can return back home. When Brian shows up for breakfast rocking new glasses, Stewie isn't impressed.
Morning, everybody.
And the crisis continues.
Oh, what, these? Come on. Last thing I want is attention.
That's a great way to avoid attention, Brian. Refusing to be bothered by Stewie's obvious disapproval of his new fashion style, Brian continues to wear the glasses.
Still sticking with the glasses, huh?
What? Oh, right, I have glasses. They're such a part of me now, I forgot all about them.
You're gross.
Yep, it's clear that Stewie's jealous. When Brian uses his newfound charm to woo women, Stewie decides that it's high time he puts an end to this shenanigan.
That's it. I'm putting an end to this. I'm gonna destroy those glasses if it's the last thing I do.
As part of his evil plot, Stewie takes Brian to the spa and convinces him to keep his glasses in the locker. Unknown to him, Chris is in on the plan to destroy it.
Come on, Chris, don't let me down.
But if you thought Chris was smart enough to execute such a basic task, then think again.
Don't worry, Stewie.
Chris, what are you doing in here?
I did it. I locked us in the sauna.
You what?
Yep, it's all set. It's turned up high, and nobody is coming for the whole weekend.
Chris is such a naive dummy. Thanks to Chris, they almost get roasted inside the sauna. Still unrelenting in his plan to destroy Brian's glasses, Stewie opts for a really drastic measure.
Hey, Brian?
Yeah?
Ah! Damn it! Ah! There's glass in my eye! Oh! Son of a bitch!
Why scheme when you can simply do it the old-fashioned way? Lois walks in on Brian and Stewie watching a movie together, and she isn't too happy about Brian's choice of entertainment.
What did he just say? Brian, this does not seem appropriate to watch in front of the baby.
Not appropriate? You took me to see Magic Mike XXL.
Oh, well, we all know Lois's parenting skills are kinda questionable. Lois then switches the channel to something more child-friendly, but this time around, Stewie is not impressed.
But that's the thing. Baby songs never tackle real baby issues. You know, like loud noises, or teething, or when Dad uses me as a lumbar pillow.
About that last one, you just have a really irresponsible father, that's all. Stewie then suggests that he and Brian start a band to write baby songs that address real baby issues. Okay, quickly, let's listen to what Stewie's first song is.
Mama liked to party when you were in her belly, drink and she did some. Mama liked to party when you were in her belly, that's why you are dumb. I call that Mama Liked to Party, parentheses, Chris's song.
Well, that's not bad, right? Stewie then informs Brian that they've been booked for their first gig, which is a performance at a birthday party the coming weekend. They both show up for the event looking all confident, until Stewie sees his ex-girlfriend, Olivia.
Stewie? Oh, I thought that was you.
Hey, Olivia, hey, what brings you here?
Oh, the birthday boy and I met at Burt Reynolds' acting camp in Jupiter, Florida.
Well, don't you think it's kind of weird that Stewie already has an ex? Moving on. Their adult-themed performance turns out to be such a big hit that Olivia decides to reconnect with Stewie. Brian tries to talk Stewie out of getting back with his ex, especially as she's friends with all the boys in the school. Let's just say, Olivia isn't the most loyal of girlfriends, but Stewie isn't willing to listen to Brian's advice. Meanwhile, the band, which they call Red Shirt, Blue Shirt, quickly gains popularity getting invitations to perform in different parties around Quahog. But soon enough, Olivia begins to plant the seeds of discord.
I just hate to see Brian getting all the attention that you deserve. You should really watch your back.
After listening to Olivia put some weird ideas in his head, Stewie becomes jealous and begins to act strange.
Stewie, what the hell is your problem? I'll tell you what my problem is. I'm doing all the work and you're just riding my coattails.
If you thought that was weird, then listen to this.
You're actually kicking me out of the band?
Not at all. In fact, I think you and I should kick Stewie out, and I'll take his place.
Always knew Olivia wasn't the type to be trusted, so Brian goes along with the plan and fires Stewie. But even though their performance was a hit, Brian starts to feel bad about kicking Stewie out.
We're singing a song he wrote. This whole thing was his idea.
Brian, don't mess this up. We've got a good thing going.
I hate to tell you this, but I'm afraid red shirt, blue shirt is done. I can't do this. I'm out.
Brian then goes over to apologize to Stewie, who has a few things to say about Olivia.
It's just something about her flat chest and muscular legs.
At the feast of San Gennaro, Stewie spots someone looking like Frank Sinatra Jr.
But you're right, that other guy behind him is Frank Sinatra Jr.
Turns out it was really Frank Sinatra after all. After a rather awkward period of trying to get Frank to remember who Brian is, Frank then suggests that they open their own Italian restaurant in Quahog, after Brian complains about how hard it is to get Italian food in Quahog. Frank quickly sets the plan into motion, identifying the perfect location for their restaurant, but since they didn't have enough money to set up as fast as they would like, Frank comes up with a good idea.
Now, fellas, the tables should all be bolted to the floor to prevent theft. You know, most restaurants go out of business because people are stealing the tables. The toilet should also be bolted to the floor.
I think that's pretty standard, Frank, but okay.
Great. Now let's go find some chump's restaurant and steal his tables and toilets.
Hope you are taking notes if you ever plan to own your own restaurant. Their big opening night turns out to be a big disappointment, as nobody shows up. But Brian quickly figures out the solution to their problem.
No, we're not. Frank, you're the hook. That's right, we just need to make you the face of the restaurant.
It may be the 5 loaves of garlic bread I ate this morning talking, but I think that's a swell idea.
Their new strategy works to perfection as their restaurant starts booming. Except that there's one little problem.
Look, Brian, I affectionately pat all the waiters on the arse. And if anyone has a problem with it, they should come to me directly.
Yeah, that's the problem. But that's not what I was talking about.
I've been going through our receipts, and we're actually losing money.
Yeah, that's it. Having identified the problems, they go on to confront Frank.
Anyway, the restaurant's gonna go under if you keep giving away food.
All right, all right.
Thank you, Frank. I appreciate you trying it my way.
When things appear not to be changing, the little man grabs the bull by the horn and sets the record straight.
Okay, everyone, new policy. As is the case with many restaurants, you're going to have to pay for your food.
What? This food ain't worth paying for.
Yeah, the only reason we eat here is because it's free.
You can see that Stewie enjoys dishing out commands like a boss. Still, that was not the response he was expecting. But as they walk out of the restaurant one last time, Stewie and Brian take it all in with pride before setting the place on fire.
Maybe. But first, let's have an unearned end of the series moment where we turn out the lights on our own place. Sorry, pal. We're closed.
To ensure that Stewie is of good behavior in church, Lois makes a promise to him.
Mom said they're gonna serve chewy Chips Ahoy at coffee hour.
But while in church, Stewie isn't exactly interested in what's going on. He just wants a snack.
I hate this. When do I get my cookie? I just want my cookie so I can go home.
But unfortunately for Stewie, it's Lent season, and the menu is usually different during Lent.
And as we settle into the silence, I remind you that in honor of Lent, today's coffee service will not include Chewy Chips Ahoy.
Well, that's not the announcement Stewie was looking forward to, and his reaction says it all.
Hey, Stewie said his first word, and it was a swear.
Well, this is unacceptable. We have to leave right now and go straight to breakfast. Unbelievable.
Well, let's ignore Peter's unnecessary tantrum and focus on the fact that Stewie just said his first word, and it was a curse word in church. Back home, Lois struggles to figure out how Stewie's first word is a swear word, plus she's concerned about her reputation in church.
Right now, every woman in my mommy wine group is judging me. I may have to start drinking wine at home alone.
Start?
Not the day for it, Chris, not the day.
You better watch your tongue there, Chris. You don't want Lois to transfer her aggression on you. Brian doesn't, however, understand what just happened.
I don't get it, Stewie. You've been talking forever. Why did everyone suddenly understand you now?
Well, I guess dogs and babies have a secret language only they can understand. We later find out that Lois was right about the women in her club.
Sorry, but we can't have Stewie here. What with his profanity and all, I don't think Stewie would be a good influence on the other children. It's a little bit about him swearing, but mostly about you as a parent.
Back at home, Lois institutes a full-time television censorship.
Brian, shut off the television. It's ruined my baby.
What are you talking about?
Stewie obviously learned to swear from some TV show. Well, then that little French-Canadian weirdo is the potty mouth.
But when the television fails to provide the answers she was looking for, Lois decides to take another approach.
That means he learned it from someone in this house.
Okay.
And I will find out who. I'm gonna set a trap and lure the swearer into revealing himself.
Lois goes on to set her trap, but it turns out that Peter, who she suspected, is actually innocent.
Peter, when did you become so polite?
Now, that's a question no one can really answer. Well, eventually, we find out who the culprit is, and it's none other than Lois, after a frustrating incident at the mall forces her to reveal her true colors.
Ah! It's those antibacterial wipes for the shopping carts! It's burning my eyes! Oh my god, it's me.
Did you see that look in Stewie's eyes? Well, all I can say is real recognizes real. At the playground, while other kids do normal baby stuff, we see Stewie positioning his drone to take out his mother.
At last I shall exact my vengeance and snuff out the miserable flame that has been your life, vile woman.
I have never seen a baby hate his mother this much. But just before Stewie launches his weapon, a little boy mistakenly knocks it out of his hands. Stewie tries to get mad at the kid, but the boy, whose name is Hudson, is so nice. Stewie finds himself playing with him.
I'm glad I met you, Stewie. You're neat. Bye!
Bye, Hudson. I like him.
The next day, Stewie excitedly returns to the park, hoping to play with Hudson. But Brian, who's becoming jealous, disapproves.
Stewie, you're like 100 times more advanced than that kid. Why do you want to hang out with him so badly?
He's just like a cool guy.
It appears that Stewie has finally made a friend. Let's hope he doesn't mess it up. To show just how much he likes Hudson, Stewie has him come over to the house for a playdate, where he shows him his high-tech weapons. Hudson, however, isn't so excited by the weapons or Stewie's intentions.
Well, I hope you don't use your guns to kill your mom or do anything bad, because if you do, I won't be able to play with you. And that's my favorite thing now.
It is?
Uh-huh.
Mine too. You know what? I'm going to let her live.
It's refreshing to see a new side of Stewie, a happy baby that's actually not thinking and scheming to destroy the world. All thanks to Hudson, Stewie decides to bury all his weapons.
Stewie, what are you doing? Having a funeral, Bri. Say goodbye to evil Stewie.
Stewie and Hudson then go to grab lunch, where Hudson shows Stewie an unusual act of kindness.
I wish I had the poorly cast Kylo Ren.
Here, Stewie. You can have mine.
You're giving me the better one? Why would you do that?
Because you're my friend.
Yes, you're my friend.
That's so cute. Stewie would, however, have his heart broken when he finds out at school that Hudson is quite the popular kid and is friends with everyone. He thought he was special. He also finds out something more painful.
Everyone but me got an invite to Hudson's birthday. I know why this happened. I called him my best friend too quickly.
Now, mad at Hudson, we witness the return of evil Stewie. With an invite, he goes to the birthday party armed to the tooth and destroys everything. But while there, he discovers that Hudson isn't the one to blame and that Brian had been jealous all along. Brian confesses that Hudson actually did send him an invite, and he hid it because he was scared of losing Stewie's friendship.
Friendship? Brian, you and I have never been friends.
We haven't?
No. Friends are people who come in and out of our lives. But you and I are family. That's forever.
What could be more exciting to a toddler than a party? Especially when it's his birthday party. In the episode Chitty Chitty Death Bang, we see Lois and Peter excitedly preparing for Stewie's one-year birthday party. Lois, however, wants it to be a little different from their older kids' parties.
Why can't we have the same kind of party we always do?
And with that, she effectively wins the debate.
Hey, Stinky, have we got some big plans for you?
To make sure everything is perfect for Stewie's party, Lois asks Peter to go make a deposit at Cheesy Charlie's so they could host the party there. But Peter messes it up as he gets carried away playing kid games.
Today you become the man of the house, because when we get home, your mother is going to kill me.
We can only hope it's fast and painless. Well, Peter manages to keep Lois from slaughtering him by telling her a different version of what happened at Charlie's. He also assures her that he's got everything covered.
Honey, you won't have to lift a finger. I got us a clown, a cake, a petting zoo, a big-ass piñata, the works.
You got all those things?
You bet I did.
We all know it's a lie, but who cares? To keep up with his promise, Peter does all he can, and in the end he organizes a big party for Stewie. Ironically, Lois wasn't interested in the size of the party after all. She just wanted the family to be together on the day. Peter makes it all happen and their family party becomes one of Stewie's most memorable moments. The toddler even sacrifices his world domination plans for a funk dance with the family.
Victory is mine!
Yes, and this cake is yours too.
Hey, Stewie, make a wish. If you blow out the candle, it'll come true.
That's right, little buddy. What do you want most in the whole world?
The whole world, you say?
Oh, what the hell?
Well, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a comment below telling us your favorite episode. Also, like and subscribe to the channel for more adventures in the city of Quahog. Until our next video, take care.